The battleground called America sees one skirmish after another, but who is fighting for faith, family, and flag? Charles Benninghoff, and here he is with today's action plan to defeat the forces of globalism.
This is volume 3 of 10 about the Clinton crime family, and I'm going to be talking about the death of Seth Rich. He was a DNC staffer who was murdered in Washington, D.C. last summer. The globalist left is so sensitive about this case that they have threatened Fox News with a boycott to get Sean Hannity to shut up about it. To save his job and status, Hannity has agreed to shut up. This is how important Seth Rich is to America, even though he's dead. But I'm not like Sean Hannity, a guy who loves his fame and his fortune. I have a little bit of both, but it still doesn't frighten me. I'm a Vietnam War combat vet who swore to defend our glorious Constitution from all threats, foreign and domestic, even if it cost me my life, which I will willingly forfeit for its cause. Seth Rich may indeed be far more important to America dead than he ever could have been alive, because through his grisly death, unbelievable horrors of perfidy, betrayal, and crime have been revealed on scales never before seen in America. This is not hyperbole, this is fact. The Seth Rich case and all it involves, including the world's biggest hack, which I discussed in volumes 1 and 2 of this series on Facebook. Just look at my channel and you'll find them. This is the most direct threat against our Constitution and our country that I have seen in my entire lifetime. I lived through the communist era, when the Berlin Wall fell, the wars in the Islamic republics, and so forth, and nothing even comes close to this. Rich was just one of 7 people connected to Hillary Clinton and the Democrat National Committee who died in violent or suspicious circumstances last year. Plus, there were 3 other deaths that we've heard about that have not been able to confirm. So possibly 10 people died last year. 7 for sure, in sometimes horrifically violent circumstances, all connected directly or very, very indirectly to the Clinton crime family. The media has pretty much been ordered to no longer report on the Seth Rich murder. The globalists in control of our media are abridging the freedom of the press on this. They're shutting our freedom of press down. So now I say, there is a vested public interest in talking about the Seth Rich murder and calling for a special prosecutor to investigate it and the other 6 corpses piled alongside Seth's on the Clinton crime family front doorstep. This video will explain why America needs a special counsel to deeply probe the Clinton crime family. And I'll tell you how you can speak out by sending confidential action demands to Congress asking for a special prosecutor to be appointed to investigate this string of very suspicious deaths. Why do we speak out? Well, it works, and it works, and that's all I can say. You know, we're fighting for faith, family, and flag, and we are counting on the fact that so many of you also think that faith, family, and flag are still worth fighting for as well. Speaking out peacefully and forcefully works. It just works. Do you remember, for example, the Muslim terrorist attack on the Navy recruiting office in Chattanooga, Tennessee in 2015? I know. We've had so many terrorist attacks by Obama's fake unvetted pseudo-refugees, all of whom have been Muslims in recent years. They all kind of run together. But this was the one at the Naval Recruiting Station. There, Navy Lieutenant Commander Tim White shot back at the Muslim with his concealed handgun and killed him, and probably saved a number of lives in that incident. Anyway, the Muslim got 5 Marines and sailors. They're all dead. Obama wanted to court-martial Tim White for carrying a concealed weapon in a gun-free zone. Obama, by the way, had nominated these offices as gun-free zones. Hello, come on, Muslim terrorists, come shoot our boys and girls. Our network of patriot activists sent tens of thousands of confidential action demands to Congress and to the Chief of Naval Operations in support of Tim White, which forced the hateful Obama administration to beat a hasty retreat back into the mosque that Obama had made the White House become. Commander White didn't get court-martialed, And Imam Obama was forced to back down from his lunacy because of our American public outcry. If you sign up for my newsletters, you don't have to speak out on every issue that I talk about. But if you speak out on just a few of those issues, even just once a month, it makes a great difference. We're fighting for the things that matter most for America. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date. You'll see a subscribe link in red at the lower left-hand corner from time to time. Just click on it. Or mouse over the video screen right now or tap on it on your mobile device. Then click on the YouTube icon, which is a little I. I is an idiot like Obama. And it'll be in the upper right corner, and you will find a link appear to my website where you can sign up for my newsletters. When you get done, don't worry, just come back here. We'll be waiting for you. Now, I don't know Seth Rich personally, and I doubt that he and I would agree on much of anything politically. But I was young once, and I had a few progressive ideas when I was young. Seems we sort of grow to love our country more, a few of us anyway, over time. Seth was a 27-year-old Democrat National Committee, we call that DNC. He was a DNC staffer who was shot dead on July 10th last year. Shortly after his death, Julian Assange of WikiLeaks offered a $20,000 reward for information leading to the conviction of Seth Rich's killer. And Assange heavily implied that Seth Rich was the source of the leaked DNC emails. In prior videos about this issue, I have said that Seth Rich was a patriotic American, progressive in nature, and he really believed in the American democratic process. But he saw the Hillary Clinton-controlled DNC steal the election nomination for Hillary away from Bernie Sanders, and it outraged him. So what did he do? He did what any good red-blooded American would do. He leaked those documents. The internet movie pirate who goes by the moniker Kim.com confirmed the fact that he leaked these documents last week. And he said that Seth Rich was the leak. He said he talked to him before the leaks and advised him on how to transfer the files to Mr. Assange at WikiLeaks. So I'm confident that Seth Rich was the leak, a good patriot American. Seth Rich police report is indeed very strange. I've linked to a copy of the cops incident report from the DC Metro Police so you can read it for yourself. And you should. You should really read it for yourself. You don't need to believe me, and in fact, for this regard, you shouldn't believe me. Go to the source document itself. I'm not making this stuff up. And I say, you can always look at this stuff and find the links on our action page. Whenever we make a statement of fact and we refer to it, I assure you that if it's substantial, there will be a link on our action page, typically at the lower left-hand corner of that page. So here's the facts that are reported. Shots were fired at 4:20 a.m. 3 of the police officers who responded to the shooting were wearing body cameras. Why haven't any of those tapes been released in the public interest? I read to you the incident description exactly as it appears on the report, and I quote, "The decedent was conscious and breathing with apparent gunshot wounds to the back. The decedent was transported to a local area hospital and was pronounced by attending physicians at 0557 hours to be dead." End of quote. If you are conscious and breathing, you're not a decedent, and at least not yet. Seth Rich was alive and conscious when the cops got to him. And you know, Chicago proves that if you're alive and conscious when cops get to you and you've suffered some grievous gunshot wounds, there's a very, very high probability you're going to survive those wounds, especially if it's non-cranial. You know what? I don't think he got any medical attention because he was pronounced dead an hour and 37 minutes after shots are reported fired. And you know, and I know, that Washington, D.C. is a Democrat-controlled cabal that is incredibly corrupt. Well, some have reported that he was shot in the head, and I've even reported that misinformation on a previous video, and I'm sorry about that. The incident report does not say that. It just said he was shot in the back. So I now stand corrected, and I retract shot in the head statement. But what's going on with those body cameras? what's going on with the police video? If he were conscious, Seth Rich was probably talking. What did he say? What did he tell the police officers? We need a special prosecutor to subpoena those tapes. But Seth Rich wasn't the only suspicious death in 2016 related to the Clinton crime family. Get ready to have nightmares when you hear this litany of errors. Maybe it's a litany of horrors. WikiLeaks was a thorn in the side of Hillary Clinton, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Clinton campaign manager Don Podesta, and the entire DNC all last year. The attorney for WikiLeaks, John Jones, got ran over by a train on April 8th of last year. Well, I personally had a very dear Saudi national friend from university days suffer the same fate in Washington, D.C.'s commuter network as he was pushed under an oncoming train. I'm convinced it wasn't an accident then, and I'm convinced it wasn't an accident now. A British court, however, ruled the death a suicide, even though the coroner publicly stated, and I quote, the state of Jones' mental health at the time he met his death lacked the necessary intent to categorize this as a suicide, and I end quote. The coroner didn't think it was a suicide, but apparently under British law, she doesn't get to make this final ruling. Only the judges, all of whom could be laborers. On June 22nd, former UN President John Ash died of a heart attack, according to the United Nations. But then, a few hours later, New York police stated that Jones died by accidentally crushing his own throat with a barbell. No heart attack, a barbell. Just a couple of days after his death, Jones was scheduled to testify in a money laundering case that involved the Clinton Foundation and the same Chinese businessman who was convicted in the 1990s of illegally donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to the DNC, Slick Willie, and Al Gore. Clearly, somebody put a heavy barbell on Ash's throat and just pushed down. On June 23rd, investigative reporter Mike Flynn died. He was 48 years old. Flynn died the same day that he published a damning report about the Clinton Foundation in China. The cause of death has never been released, to my knowledge. Then, on July 25th, the day that the DNC convention began, Joe Montano died of a supposed heart attack. There are numerous chemicals that can kill and leave traces that indicate a heart attack. Could that be what happened? Montano was a former employee of vice presidential candidate Tim Kaine and a former insider at the DNC. He was a youthful 47 without any major health problems. Indeed, his family reported at the time of his death that he was in, I quote, tip-top physical health, vibrant, life-loving. Montano knew what Debbie Wasserman Schultz was up to at the DNC. Schultz then jigged the entire Democrat Party to cheat Bernie Sanders out of the Democrat presidential nomination. Let's connect that dot. Montano, because he was an insider, clearly knew that the nomination was going to be given to Clinton and not Bernie Sanders, by virtue of the way that they had jigged the election. I can guarantee you that Montano had some of the same secrets in his head as Seth Rich. Then there's the death of Victor Thorne, who was an investigative journalist who wrote 4 scathing books about the Clinton crime cabal. On a talk radio show earlier in the year, Thorne stated, quote, "If I'm ever found dead, it was murder. I would never kill myself," close quote. Thorne was found shot in the head on August 1st, and his death was ruled a suicide. Sean Lucas was a 38-year-old attorney with an entire life to live, and he served the DNC with a lawsuit 2 days after Hillary Clinton accepted the nomination. Lucas was suing the DNC for stealing the nomination from Bernie Sanders, which was 100% confirmed as truthful by the Podesta emails that were leaked by Seth Rich to WikiLeaks. It completes the circle. The circle is complete. This is damning evidence. Lucas was then found dead on his bathroom floor with his stomach full of pills, even though his friends say that he was not a drug user, to their knowledge. You know, they fed him possibly just one pill, one way or the other, and it sort of knocked him out. Then someone came to his aid and had him gulp a couple more pills down. And now the report is his stomach was full of pills when there could have only been 2 or 3. There's no reason why this man on the top of his game, this lawyer who was going to ride a national wave against the Democrat Party, would kill himself. That is preposterous. And you know what? That should really make you scratch your head a bit. And there were 3 others who are alleged, not yet confirmed, but alleged to have been medicos who worked on Hillary Clinton after she had that public seizure. And if you go back into my videography here on YouTube, you'll see that I have captured the entire collapse of Clinton. And I did an examination of that set of facts there. So go look for that. You'll see how grave she was. And she had to, by the way, be thrown into an SUV by her Secret Service detail. And she was thrown in like she was a slab of beef, a porker that just got shot in the head, ready for the table. It was horrible. They picked her up and threw her in. I'm sure you may remember that. If you don't, go back and look at that video I did. Just for a quick comparison, let's look at all of the suspicious deaths of staffers and reporters related to the Republican National Committee and Donald Trump's triumphant election as President of the United States. Let me count them all for you. From June of 2015 through today, May 25th, 2017, the number is, let's see, what is it? All right, the number 0, not a 1. Nobody died. But we have 7 and possibly as many 10 deaths directly related to Hillary Clinton, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and the DNC from just last year alone. Plus, as I reported yesterday, we have Debbie Wasserman Schultz personal computer, her laptop stuffed in a crack in one of the government buildings. They all died, these guys, in different states, and no one was in Great Britain. This is why we need a federal special prosecutor appointed to investigate this. If private citizens like you and I can connect all these dots so easily, then so too can a federal prosecutor. Seth Rich and all those mentioned deserve justice. They're sitting on that porch in front of the door of the Clinton crime family, and they're crying for justice, all of them. And the rest of these people who died under suspicious or sometimes ludicrous circumstances as well need to be investigated. So, how do you help? Here's how you can help. Go to our action page today and send confidential demand communications to the House Judiciary Committee using our simple, easy GEMS communication system. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Just go to the page, fill in your details, edit the letter if you wish, and click send. And your demands will be instantly transmitted to the committee member offices. So, Bob Mallory will have instructions on the next screen on how to get to our action page, what to do when you get there, so stay tuned. This is Charles Benninghoff signing off and wishing you freedom, fulfillment, and God's many blessings.
If you're on our action page on our website, use the form next to the video screen to select a program and send personal letters to Congress. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, click the icon appearing now to find the link to our action page, or check the video's description to find the link. Speak out today.